Hello, 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 and welcome to the Binding of Isaac tier list. Today, I'm going to be going over what I think the best characters are. It's kind of just like what characters I like playing the most. So, you know, it's a matter of opinion. You can disagree with me, but if you disagree with me, I think you're wrong and also stupid. I mean, do you know how many hours I have in this game? I am clearly more in the know than you are. I'm looking at you. Alright, so first we got Isaac. My boy's at the top of the list. You already know. The D6, decent health starting pool, decent starting stats. I mean, the D6 basically guarantees you a win in basically any run as long as you, don't get absolutely shafted. Maggie, she has had her ups and downs as a character. I personally think she's pretty alright. I think she's fun, especially in Repentance. I think it's fun to go into sacrifice rooms and just get like an early angel item, or just some extra resources there. Sort of boring, but I think she's pretty fun. Kayn, I love me some Kayn. I think Kayn's really fun. He's got really good starting damage, starting speed, all good pills, really good luck-based gambling stuff. I think that stuff is really fun. He doesn't have a starting space bar item, which is kind of unfortunate and slightly lower health, but like I feel like most of the time I don't really lose out too much when that's going on with Kayn. And now we have Judas. I don't like Judas. He's alright, but I think Judas just is kind of boring. His stats aren't particularly good. I think he has the highest starting damage. He definitely has the highest starting damage with Book of Belial, but it's just not really necessary. And I think the starting low on health is kind of just whatever. I just think he's boring. Blue Baby, I think he goes up in good. He's not really anything super special, but sometimes I think the extra challenge is kind of fun. The poop active item is like kind of oddly fun in my opinion. But his position might change if I, think a little more later on. Eve, she's not in horrible. I don't like playing Eve. I don't like the fact that, you're kind of punished for having red hearts, because their starting damage is so low, and with Repentance, all your damage scales off of your starting damage, so you kind of can't have red health with her. So, you might be able to argue that it's kind of a skill issue, but I just don't really think that she's that fun. I think not being able to have red health isn't really worth like the struggles that come with her being her. Also, Deadbird and Razorblade kind of suck. There's not really any way to go around. I mean, Deadbird's not like bad, but like you kind of have to be not great at the game for Deadbird to be useful. So, Samson's kind of boring, but he's fun nonetheless. Actually, he goes below Blue Baby. I think Blue Baby's more fun than Samson. Samson's sort of in the same room with Eve, where like you have to be not super great at the game for his special abilities to really matter. So he's kind of just like whatever. He might even go down in here, but I don't usually go out of my way to pick Samson. Azazel, I mean, you gotta put Azazel up here. Azazel's definitely at the bottom of amazing. His starting ability is really fun, especially for like newer players, or just like he's the character you pick when you're like, oh, I just kind of want to have a casual like run that I'm going to win. Like you don't really think about it too much. You don't really do anything crazy. But yeah, you pick Azazel when you want to win, and you want to have flight. You want to have it a little easier. With Lazarus is going down in bad. I just don't really like him. So same thing with Samson and Eve. Lazarus just kind of like his bonus comes around when you're not amazing at the game, and I've wasted a lot of my life on this game, so typically his bonus isn't really that good. I don't even think its stat buffs are really anything crazy either, so it's really kind of just all around whatever. But yeah, he's just going down here with Eve and them. Eden, I think Eden can be fun. I definitely don't go out of my way to play Eden just because part of my brain that's like, don't spend your Eden tokens, you might need them. But also I don't really like the randomness of it, like, because it, at least if you're trying to have fun and not just like get unlocks or whatever, and incentivizing is just kind of restarting until you have a fun starting item. I mean, if you're a bitch, which I'm kind of a bitch, but you know. So I'm just kind of gonna leave Eden there. He might move down later. I'll go back and refinalize the list once I'm done through. Now the Lost, hot take. Lost is fun as fuck to play. Free devil deals, eternal D6, so you basically are Isaac Light. You can take one hit every room with no punishment besides your heartbeat going up. And I just think Lost is really, really fun. He's fun to play, fun to be around, but he's a nice guy. Pretty cool guy. Lilith, she is cooler than Samson. Yeah, I think Blue Baby's gimmick is better than her. She's more interesting than Samson. Her gimmick with the Incubus is pretty fun. And the Box of Friends is pretty good. She's not really too difficult. Sometimes your tears being offset kind of runs you into the ground, but usually it doesn't really cause any problems. So I think out of a lot of the gimmick characters, I think her gimmick's pretty fun. Keeper kind of goes along the same lines. I actually like playing Keeper, even if I don't win very often, but I usually don't like cry myself to sleep when I'm playing him, just especially because I'm not really going for unlocks anymore. I'm just playing him to have fun. So he kind of goes up there because I think he's more interesting than Samson and Eden. Actually, I'm gonna put Samson below Eden. Apollyon, he's kind of in the same boat. Like, his gimmick isn't really that cool. It's fun to like absorb items with the void. I will say about Keeper loses a lot based on the fact that, like, his unlocks really only make him fun. Without his unlocks, he kind of sucks dick, which sucks. But after his unlocks, I think he's pretty fun. Apollyon with the void is pretty cool. It's incentivized to absorb spacebar items, but I kind of never really find a use for it because you never really want to use your void on spacebar items unless they're like really good. Because like, if you have to use it in a room, you don't want to use your 6 charge void in a room because you want to use it to absorb bad items. So like, I feel like his void's kind of redundant in a way, but he goes there. He's all right. I think Forgotten is up next to Maggie. I think the Forgotten's gimmick is pretty fun. He doesn't really do anything super crazy special or anything that crazy interesting, but like he's got some pretty fun stuff going on, I guess. Yeah, I'll just kind of leave him right there, just about. Bethany kind of goes in the bad area. She's the most interesting out of the ones in the bad. I just don't find her fun to play. I just realized I didn't really went over what the Forgotten does. He's just a skeleton guy with a spirit, which is cool thematically. He has high damage. I think it's fun to be like a melee character, so I think that's a fun aspect with him. Switching back and forth between the soul and him is kind of like whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of that mechanic, but I think the base sort of level of the Forgotten is fun enough to make up for it. The reason Bethany is here is because it just kind of sucks to never have like protection with your deal with the angels, and like you kind of just like cry anytime you get hit with Bethany. There's not really a whole lot you can do to protect unless you get specifically a skeleton heart or a bone heart, which, I mean, they're not that common. They're not that uncommon, but like you don't run into them that often. So you kind of have to be really good and hope your whisk can carry you. And sometimes they can, but not always. Fuck Jacob and Esau. That's really all I have to say. 2 characters was a bad idea. Splitting your items between 2 characters sucks. And while I'm at it, if you know the characters, Tainted Lazarus goes there too. Splitting your items between 2 characters, especially when you can only use one set of them per room, they might as well have just been screwing you over the whole time. Like, it's horrific. At least here, you get to have all of your items all the time. With Tainted Lazarus, you better hope you put your card or your pill in the right slot. They buffed him and he still sucks, in my opinion. Like, Flip is better and it's still ass. Tainted Isaac, he goes up here. I think Tainted Isaac is pretty fun. Having limited items makes some decisions pretty interesting. There's been times where like I'll actually be in a run and I'll be sitting there and thinking like, man, what am I keeping here? Like, I got a lot of stuff and like I don't know what I'm getting rid of. But yeah, he'll stay right there. Actually, he's gonna go down to good. He's gonna go to the top of good. Tainted Magdalene gets to be up here though. Again, it's the same thing with Forgotten. Being a melee character is really fun. Like, just that whole idea is like really cool to be able to just like run into people, take their health, and then just keep running into people. You don't have to worry about your tiers too much. It's good to have like tier rate and stuff, but really you want to focus on your DPS, like your actual damage, rather than your tiers. Tainted Cain, he goes in bad. I think, well, no, he's the top of bad. I think this will be a hot take, like, because I think a lot of people really like to play Tainted Cain because you get to like customize your run or whatever, and I respect that. But for me, I just don't want to take all that time to collect those materials and do all that stuff. Like, since I'm casually playing, I'm not getting unlocks anymore. Like, getting I don't want to spend an hour and a half doing a Tainted Cain run because, you know, I'm trying to get the best stuff. And I mean, you could say that, you know, you don't have to get the best stuff, but like, if you want to play the character right and have the most fun per run, then you got to play him a certain way, and that way is just slow. So I don't want to play it like that. Tainted Judas, he goes up there with Magdalene. I think Tainted Judas is really fun. Not being able to have red health kind of sucks, but I think it adds a layer to his character that's pretty fun. I think it's just sort of a good time when you play Tainted Judas. Being able to like get the tiers to get that damage up is really fun. I think that's a cool mechanic. I think his speed is really nice. It's nice to be able to get around really quick. You don't see that a lot in Binding of Isaac, like starting out like pretty strong, pretty solid. But in this case you do. Tainted Blue Baby is going at the top of bad. Like, I don't feel like I need to explain it that much. Not having bombs sucks. Having to collect quote unquote bombs with shooting people and leaving them on the ground, and you're slow and your damage is low and yada yada yada. It can interrupt your like charges and stuff. I just don't think it's a fun gimmick. I mean, I think in this bad category, if I had to pick any character to play, like, if I want to have fun in the run, it's one of the top 3. Like, and I think I'd rather play him over like Bethany or Cain or Tainted Cain, just because like I think his gimmick is the most fun out of these 3. But it's still kind of just like bad. I think Tainted Eve, this is probably also a hot take, is going here. I don't like spending my health or having to worry about my health being spent when I'm not paying attention. And then it getting like murdered or like I miscount and I lose some hearts or whatever. I just don't think her gimmick is that fun. I appreciate what it is, and I'll admit that I kind of have only played her character to get the unlocks, and I haven't really touched her too much more, just because I have the aversion to normal Eve. I think her concept is really cool, but beyond that, I'm not really super interested in her character. Tainted Samson he's all right. He's definitely more interesting than these 3. So he goes he goes somewhere in there, or I don't know. I just don't. He'll go around. He's somewhere in here. I think I'm probably gonna cut and then reconfigure this thing to sort of my specifications, and I'll probably talk about it after I do. But he probably goes somewhere around here. I just don't want to pick him very often. Like, I'm just not really that interested in him. I think his gimmick is cool, but it's slow, and then like the whole like rage through the floors is like cool, I guess, but like usually you're kind of just like you don't really want to rush through. I like to play the Binding of Isaac very thoroughly and collect all the stuff that I need, and his playstyle just doesn't really lean towards that. So if you're a go-getter and you're just trying to get your runs through, he's probably a really good character for you, but that's just not who I am. Tainted Azazel, he goes up with Azazel. He's below Azazel because lack of flight, but he's another character where it's like, if you want to win the run, you just pick Tainted Azazel or Azazel and have a fun run, get it through, do what you gotta do. Tainted Eden definitely is in the bad category. His gimmick is cool or whatever, but I just like getting hit and then everything changing just kind of sucks. It's not that exhilarating, and it's not that fun to play, because you kind of just have to hope that you don't roll into something terrible, and then if you do, you just get hit again, and then you roll into something else, you roll and you roll and you roll, which is like cool as a concept, but like if you have a really good run and you're like, oh wow, this is such a fun run, like it's exciting, and then you get hit and you're like, well, it sucks now. Like whatever run you curated, if you used your knowledge, you used your abilities, you used whatever stuff you found on the floor, and just sort of cultivated this run, cool synergies, and then it gets snapped away, and you're like, oh well, I'm left with whatever I was given randomly, which I just think is kind of anti-fun, in my opinion. This is going to be another hot take. Tainted Lost is very fun. I love playing Tainted Lost. I definitely will never pick Tainted Lost over the Lost, but if someone was like, you have to play 10 Tainted Lost runs, first of all, that's not going to take me that long because I'm going to die a lot. But second of all, I'm not going to be that upset about it, because I just think he's fun. Very high starting damage. His item pool is curated for him, so you don't get a bunch of useless stuff like you do with the Lost or even just some other characters. The biggest thing is just, it's really easy to die. You have a holy mantle, but once it's gone, and you have to hope to find some other stuff, and you can't really get defensive items, which is sort of sucky, but I think he's pretty fun. If you are short on time but you still want to play Isaac, I mean, that's kind of the character you want to play, because you're either dead or you're not. Tainted Lilith, I like Tainted Lilith. I think her little, like, whipping her baby around, that's cool as fuck. And that's kind of all I really have to say. I just play her, I just toss her baby out. That's just how I play her. I don't really shoot with the baby unless completely necessary. That's all I really gotta say. She's a fun character. I think she's cool. Biggest problem is that she's slow, but I mean, you can get speed ups. This is also, I think, gonna be a hot take. Tainted Keeper, very fun as well. Like, I don't know, I think it's the dopamine rush of picking up the coins off the floor. Like, I love killing enemies and then them dropping stuff, and then I pick that stuff up and I can use it to go buy the stuff I want. My biggest complaint with Tainted Keeper is just that we don't kind of innately get more options. Well, you do in the shop, so kind of a moot point, but like, in just like generally, like, it would be nice if he just kind of came with like 2 options in like the boss room and the item rooms and stuff, since you have to pay for everything, you have to kind of make your choices, but that might make it too easy, so I kind of get why that's not the case. Tainted Apollyon, I think Tainted Apollyon is pretty solid. his gimmick isn't anything too special, and I wish that he had a lot more special flies. I appreciate what they were going with the special flies, but he just doesn't have enough. They could make up by that by making, whenever you absorb a special item, because they're usually really good items, it gives you more than one of the fly. And granted, I haven't played them too much, so that might be in the patch notes somewhere, but I think the attack flies are super cool. The special flies are really cool, but unfortunately they only gave him like 30 or something. And there's a lot of items, so you're not really going to run into him too much. Tainted Forgotten is alright. I'm actually going to put Tainted Forgotten there. I'm going to put Tainted Samson here. But again, I'm going to reconfigure this because, you know, this isn't quite right. He's just kind of like whatever. I appreciate the gimmick that the Tainted Forgotten has, but I just don't really think it lends itself to something very fun. Having to play fetch with your skull is kind of just amusing at best, and even then it's not amazing. So he's like a soft good as it currently stands. Now on the other hand, Tainted Bethany, she's pretty fun. I like Tainted Bethany. She probably sits right there for now. The Legitimon, or however you say it, her book, very fun mechanic. The giving items and stuff. I don't even remember what the downside of her thing is. Is it still she can't have soul hearts, or is it she can't have red hearts? I think it might be she can't have red hearts. But either way, I think she's a really fun character. All the times I played her were interesting. There's only a few runs where I was like, man, this kind of sucks. Either way, solid entry. Tainted Jacob, this is going to be a really hot take. I think Tainted Jacob is really fun. Like, using Dark Esau to just like delete bosses is like elite. Like, in my brain, that shit pops, it bings in my brain. So he's somewhere up in the amazing. I really like him. So that's it for now, but like I said, I'm gonna fix this up, and then we're gonna run it back for just a final conclusion. Alright, so I've rearranged this up, swapped it a little bit. As you can see, it's still fairly in line with what I had previously, morphed around a little bit. Isaac, Lost in Game are still in my top 3. Really, really solid characters, really like playing them. Don't make characters that share items. I just want to play one character. That's why I'm in the character select screen, for one character. Fuck you, Edmund. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.